for the 5th time. All the while, great commentary there. While we can confirm the landing. Confirmed landing there of the first stage booster. Also, almost simultaneously, great news for the second stage. We heard that there was nominal orbit insertion for Crew Dragon Endeavour. There you can see a live view inside our Dragon. Looks like the crew is beginning to adjust to zero G. And if you look at the right-hand side corner, it looks like we can see the zero G indicator.
That was one of my. That was one of the things I really wanted to see what they were going to bring for their zero G indicator. So I can't wait to see what comes on.
It looks, I can't quite tell, Pokemon. Maybe. Okay. Well, hopefully it'll come into closer view.
Yeah,
but,
and if not, we'll get to ask them later. Hopefully.
Yeah. Great to see the crew here again, starting to really getting their first taste of microgravity.
Yeah.
Oh, it has ears. Oh, it's a bunny. Is that
like
Thumper?
I think it might be.
Dobra, mam nadzieję, że mnie teraz słychacie. No niestety, awaria za awarią. No ja nie wiem, to wiecie co, stary komp siadł po prostu, ale lecimy dalej. Dziękuję, że wracacie, że wytrwaliście tą chwilę. Ja żałuję, że YouTube tak szybko transmisję mi ubił, bo dosłownie zabrakło mi kilkunastu sekund. Już się tam komputer restartował, żeby wbić się w tą samą transmisję. No niestety musimy odpalić nową. W każdym razie już jesteśmy, lecimy dalej razem z naszymi 4 astronautami w kierunku Międzynarodowej Stacji Kosmicznej.
Right now the second stage is about...
Jeszcze raz witam wszystkich. Tomasz, Ami, pan Staszek, hejka.
Preparing now for stage separation. Excuse me, for Dragon separation. For those of you that have just recently joined us, we had an on-time liftoff of the Axiom 1 crew. They are now in space and coming up to separation from second stage, at which point they will then begin to make their journey, continue their journey to the International Space Station. The view that you're currently looking at is inside the Dragon trunk, which, as you can see, has just separated from the second stage.
Dragon separation confirmed. On behalf of the Falcon 9 team, welcome to space. Thanks for flying Falcon 9. Guys, enjoy your trip to that wonderful space station in the sky. Do some great research for us. We'll look to see you back here underground. Now stand by for some words from LD.
And MLA and
No niestety lądowanie mnie ominęło, kurczę. On sobie obejrzę gdzieś na powtórkach.
pass you over to Anna and the team. You'll be in good hands. Godspeed, Endeavour. Enjoy the rest of your flight. Cheers.
Hey, Mark. It was a lot of fun. I venture to guess we had a little bit more than you did. We thank you and your launch team, Girth, you and the Falcon 9 team. That was a hell of a ride, and we're looking forward to the next 10 days.
All right, some nice words there from a couple of key folks. Our first Quindar tone of the mission.
Yeah. I queued up right when I heard that.
There we can
expected loss of signal, Bermuda and New Hampshire.
There we can see Dragon Endeavour on its way to the International Space Station. It has separated. There's a view
Dragon
inside.
SpaceX, we had nominal dehumidifier activation and service section Draco checkouts.
There we can see over the shoulder of
SpaceX Endeavour, we copy, Arthur.
Over the shoulder, previously Commander MLA was on the left and pilot Larry Connor was on the right.
Dobra, co się dzieje na czacie? Tu mamy transmisję. Z jakich krajów ta ekspedycja? Kanada, Stany Zjednoczone, Hiszpania i Izrael.
Everyone is in space. We can see that zero G indicator floating around. Great view there
Czy można zostać lunatykiem z oglądania nieba w nocy? Nie mam zielonego pojęcia. Nie wiem.
Yeah, I mean, this is a day of firsts. You know, this is my first time getting to participate in a launch like this. This is a first for Axiom. I mean, this is a first for spaceflight. And it's just wonderful to see such a picture of perfect launch.
It really was.
We saw the landing and we saw orbital or zero-G insertion at the same time. I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
It was wonderful to see. All right, well, as I just said, today's launch is one for the history books. So to punctuate this milestone that NASA and commercial companies are able to achieve together, we go now to Kennedy Space Center, where Megan Cruz is with NASA's Kathy Leaders.
I'm here right now with the Associate Administrator of NASA's Space Operations Mission Director. It's so great to have you here, Kathy. Mm-hmm. What did you think of the launch?
Oh my gosh, it's always like, you know, right in the bottom of my throat. I'm holding, can't breathe.
Yes.
But what a beautiful, beautiful sight.
Yeah.
So good to see it. I want to tell everybody working Artemis 1 wet dress, we're off the range. We're off the range for Axiom 1 and we can get moving. But you always want to hear the engine cut off. You always want to hear that second stage engines lighting. You always want to hear, you know, each of these stages, and we need to just...
Na razie Tomek, do następnego, cześć.
The different steps to get the...
Wielka mistyfikacja, albo ja wiem.
What does Axiom
Mistyfikacja, zaraz od razu.
Future private astronaut missions
Dlaczego?
to the International Space Station?
Hey, you know, NASA's original goal was to enable commercial industry. That was actually in our original Space Act agreement. And so here we are, you know, 60 years later, enabling that through our missions. And so I just feel like this is a culmination of 60 years of work for us. And here we are once again getting...
Och, żeby to tylko niedyspozycja internetowa, niestety coś bardziej mi tu siadło, wiesz.
You know, private astronauts going
Cały komp mi się zresetował.
No
ale nic, jesteśmy. Szkoda, że taki przerywany live, nie lubię takich rzeczy, ale cóż, nie mogę poradzić. No może coś mogę. Do pomyślenia.
Yeah, so important. And you know, we just watched Axiom 1 lift off from that launch pad right there behind us. In a couple of weeks, we're going to see Crew 4 launch from that same launch pad. And then just right next to it, Pad 39B, we have NASA's brand new space launch system. Can you recall a busier time we've had here at the Space Coast? And how is Kennedy Space Center managing its new role as this multi-user spaceport?
So I think somebody else, Bob Cabana had this dream of a multi-user spaceport here. So I think he should be very, very proud of his KSE team, and Janet Petro and her team are obviously leading the way right now, because this is not easy to do. It's not easy to go make sure all these people have all the capabilities and are obviously working with our Air Force sister agency there too, and making sure that all these launches get supported in a seamless way. Just an amazing job.
Yeah, a lot of juggling that has to happen.
Yep.
So, you know, I just talked about SLS. We are looking forward to the moon with that launch later this year. You know, why is it still so important to maintain a presence in low Earth orbit when we're looking towards the moon now?
Because we still don't have everything figured out how to do things yet for the moon and Mars. And really the cheapest place for us to see a differential gravity environment and for the long term is still LEO.
Yeah.
And so we've got to continue to do these long duration flights, keep doing our medical protocols, keep doing our physical protocols, keep testing out our equipment through those long duration missions. It's the only place where we can do that right now.
Yeah.
And so we still need to be able to have this kind of a test bed for us to be checking out and proving our protocols, our research, our technology before you go put somebody in a rocket that's going to go to Mars, right? So just like always, we prepare, we get ourselves ready, and a low Earth orbit destination is a perfect place to do that.
And again, how does us fostering commercialization efforts in space, how does that free us up to pursue these other dreams that we have as an agency?
So, you know, the administrator today in the pre-mission conference, he said, you know, we right now are doing, this is our first step. We're working with a commercial company to have them come to our International Space Station. And we're learning to work together and figuring out how to work together. And this is going to be an important step for us because moving forward, we would actually like to now be able to buy a ride and time on orbit with a commercial company to be able to have them do.
No widzę, że docieracie tu powoli. Fajnie, ale kurczę, bardzo mi przykro, że tak to zadziałało. No niestety czas chyba na jakieś zmiany sprzętowe. Nie widziałem lądowania. Akurat w momencie, kiedy było lądowanie na barce, siadło mi połączenie. Blizna pyta, kiedy dokowanie do ISS. Dopiero jutro o 12:45, więc blisko 20 godzin lotu czeka tą czwórkę, która właśnie zmierza ku ISS.
Thanks, Megan. It is great to see the Ax-1 mission on orbit. The team here with the...
Oj, Andrzej, powiem Ci, że Ty się mylisz. Natomiast nie musimy Ci tłumaczyć, dlaczego się mylisz, ale też nie możemy Ci pozwolić na sianie takiej dezinformacji na tym kanale, więc Andrzeju, wybacz, ale muszę Cię wyciszyć.
That is just about 6:45 a.m. here in Houston, 4:45 a.m. for the teams out on the West Coast. Once they get there, we'll be able to get into all of the hatch open operations.
Niechętnie wyciszam użytkowników, ale jak już ktoś powtarza jak mantra po prostu takie teorie niestworzone na temat... To już nie powiem, że o płaskiej ziemi, ale o tym, że oglądamy w tej chwili spektakl science fiction, gdzie zamiast Dragona mamy pojazd z dykty, no to powiem wam, że słuchać się tego nie chce.
a.m. so an early morning, my friends over there on the West Coast. So with that, again, congratulations to the SpaceX and Axiom teams for getting this crew on orbit. We'll be ready for them tomorrow to get them on board the space station. I'll send it back.
Chris, jeszcze raz pozdrowionka dla was. Dla młodego, dla małżonki. Trzymajcie się.
Just now, successful nose cone opening. All right, so that was basically the last physical step for this morning. So that we're going to start wrapping it up. Now, over the next 20 hours, Dragon will execute a series of burns to gradually raise and line up the Ax-1 crew for docking with the International Space Station in what we refer to as the activation and rendezvous phase of the mission. Now, in just a few minutes, the crew will doff or take off their spacesuits to get a little more comfy for their flight and will enjoy their first meal aboard the spacecraft. At 2 p.m. Pacific, they will get ready for a rest period that will last for about 10 hours, 8 hours for actual sleeping, and a couple of hours for pre/post-sleep activities. Before they arrive at the space station, we will have two potential opportunities to chat briefly with the crew on orbit, one later this morning around 11:10 a.m. Pacific, and one early tomorrow around 12:10 a.m. Pacific. While we're hopeful one of these will work out, neither opportunity is guaranteed as they're dependent on crew schedule and ground station coverage. Now, if we're able to support, we'll make an announcement on our social media channels no later than 15 minutes before the event start time. In the meantime, be sure to keep tabs on the mission at axiomspace.com, and you can track Dragon's flight on spacex.com/launches.
Right, and as Kate mentioned, even if we aren't able to talk live with the crew, we will continue to provide updates on the mission across our social media channels. And starting at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, April 9th, we will pick back up with our live joint coverage of the Ax-1 crew's approach and docking to station with NASA. So please keep an eye on Axiom and SpaceX social channels for updates, and regardless, we hope to see you back here at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time for live coverage of the first all-private astronaut mission to the space station. So from all of us at Axiom Space, thank you to SpaceX, and thank you to NASA. This is just the beginning in the next chapter. And thank you at home for tuning in. We hope to see you soon.
O, no moi kochani, chyba transmisja nam się powoli kończy. Ja jeszcze zerknę, czy NASA czasami nie będzie miała jakiegoś dodatkowego streama, niezależnie od SpaceX. Włączam Wam pogodę, żeby póki co nie zamykać jeszcze tej transmisji, bo może uda się znaleźć dodatkowe źródło do tej transmisji właśnie z pokładu Dragona, a jeżeli nie, to będziemy za chwilę kończyć. Dajcie mi pół minutki, ja szybko zobaczę, czy coś NASA nadaje. NASA streamuje cały czas, Beata, ale chyba nie akurat ciąg dalszy tej misji. Przynajmniej ja nic nie znalazłem, więc moi drodzy, będziemy musieli sobie to podsumować i powoli kończyć. Czyli jutro widzimy się chwilę po południu, około 12:45 na dokowaniu. Mniej więcej 20 godzin będą nam lecieli astronauci do Międzynarodowej Stacji Kosmicznej. Przypomnę, że oni spędzą na ISS 8 dni. Cały czas pobytu w kosmosie razem z drogą, którą potrzebują na dotarcie i powrót, to jest 10 dni. No i to są kosmiczni turyści. Coś tam na siłę próbowali dla nich wymyślić na tej stacji kosmicznej. Mają brać udział w jakichś, czy też pomagać w jakichś eksperymentach i doświadczeniach. Natomiast coś nam z tego pokażą. Zobaczymy, jak będzie taka możliwość. To oczywiście ja Wam pokażę. Także z góry zapraszam jutro na wieczór. Będziemy świętować 10 000 oglądających kanał Nocne Niebo. 10 000 subów. To już nam stuknęło kilka tygodni temu, ale nie było okazji, żeby na chwilę się zatrzymać i z Wami to świętować. Także zrobimy to w sobotę wieczorem. A jeżeli uda się, to jeszcze o 12:45 transmisja z dokowania. A za dzisiejsze popołudnie bardzo Wam dziękuję i do usłyszenia jutro. Cześć.